It wasn't just Akeem that he mentored. I mean, we all know about that here, but he mentored a bunch of NBA players, one of those being Charles Barkley. And Paul Barkley called Moses the greatest influence in his career, like you said in the book.
Yeah, Moses, he really did enjoy being a mentor, and you know, Hakeem and Barkley the most notable for sure. But there are guys I talked to who never even made the league. You know, who played professionally in Europe, or guys who were, you know, bench players in the league, or just had a cup of coffee in the league. And Moses looked out for them. He took them under his wing. He and Barkley had a very special relationship. Barkley, as you noted, just said he was the most important person in his career. I mean, the big thing is Barkley always says Moses taught him to work hard. But it is interesting because it was a soft spot to Moses. There was actually you would never know it based on how hard he played, but he had a gentle side to him, and I think he could be empathetic to others, you know, and supportive of them when they were struggling. The great Barkley story, of course, is Charles was fat and out of shape when he got in the league, and his rookie year early on, he wasn't playing very much, at least not as much as he wanted to. And Billy Cunningham, the coach, was getting on him a lot. And Charles went to talk to Moses, and he told him all this. Is like, why am I not playing? And Moses looked him up and down and said, "You're fat and lazy." Which is just so typical Moses, just blunt and, you know, to the point. But Moses worked with him. He worked with him. You know, he said lose 10 pounds, and Charles did. He said lose 10 more pounds, and Charles did. And Moses worked with him before practice and after practice. They ran at the track. And Charles was one of the few people to deliver a eulogy at Moses' funeral. So they had a really special relationship.
Yeah, when they traded Moses, it hurt Barkley so much that Barkley said, mentally, it screwed me up a great deal for some time. I lost another father figure, someone who was more important to me than anyone in my life other than my mother and grandmother. Barkley thought trading away Moses from Philly was the beginning of the end of his Philadelphia career. He said Moses was one of the nicest people that he ever played with, one of the few people Barkley said I know making $2 million a year who isn't a jerk.